I'd like to welcome you to the 2015 St. Petersburg Veterans Day celebration. And what a beautiful morning it is. And we are so fortunate to be able to celebrate this special day right here at the Veterans Memorial in beautiful downtown St. Petersburg. I'm Cliff Smith. I'm the manager of Veterans, Social, and Homeless Services for the city of St. Petersburg. Wow, what a great turnout we have this morning. I want to thank everybody for getting up early and coming on downtown to help us say thank you and to honor our veterans this morning. This is actually our second annual Veterans Day celebration. We had our first one last year, and we said then we wanted to make this an annual event, and it was our hope that it would grow into be one of the premier Veterans Day celebrations in Tampa Bay. And from the great turnout we have this morning and from our honored guests, I would say we're well on our way to reaching that goal. Today and every day, I am proud to be an American. We are the greatest country in the world because we have the greatest and the bravest men and women serving our country and protecting our freedom. President Kennedy said at his inaugural address, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And I can think of no greater service to our country than what our veterans have done, putting their lives on the line to protect our freedom. Your service and your sacrifice inspires me every day. It motivates me to do my best, just like you did, in service to my community and to my country. For all of our veterans here today, I thank you for your service and for your sacrifice. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank your families whose support made all of this possible. I would next like to introduce Gina Maniaci with the St. Petersburg Vet Center. And Gina is one of the reasons we are here today. Gina came to Mayor Kriseman last year and asked if the city would be willing to host a special event on Veterans Day, and we thought it was a great idea. That led to last year's, and now we have this wonderful celebration that I believe, like I said earlier, is going to be one of the premier Veterans Day celebrations in Tampa Bay. Gina?
Thank you so much for being here. I'm ecstatic to see how many people have come. Thanks for advertising in the St. Pete Times so we could see that this wonderful event is going on early in the morning. And I dedicate this to all my veterans that I work with, especially the members of Group 12, because that was the group that pushed me to ask some previous administrations and were turned down, so I'm very grateful to the mayor's office for allowing this to happen. And if it gets a little bit bigger, maybe we can have our parade. So I'm the team leader of the St. Petersburg Vet Center, and our main goal is to provide readjustment counseling services for our combat theater veterans or any of our veterans who experience military sexual trauma. We are located over by Tyrone Square Mall by the Chili's restaurant. If anybody knows where that is, please come see us. I will be here after this as well if there's any veterans out here who have questions about our program and our services. But again, our main goal is to serve our veterans and help them reintegrate into society after experiencing the horrific things that they've seen over in their different war zones. And because I'm not a writer, I have a very wonderful longtime friend of the Vet Center named Gordon Kuhn, and I asked him if he could write something for me to share that nobody's heard before. So I'd like to share a little poem and a statement that he had written for me to share with all of you. He lives a little bit far away, and 8 o'clock was a little too early for him, so I am reading this on behalf of Gordon Kuhn. Veteran. 3 simple syllables, yet one of the most powerful words in our lexicon. One of the most meaningful. It identifies the person so called as having a place in history. They left behind family and friends and stepped into the breach, risking their lives for the protection of others and the freedoms we all share. Veteran. You stood your watch and honored our. Now feel the breath of history brush across your face. Hear the voices of those who went before you. and those who came after whisper your name. You who left your family and friends behind and stepped forward to protect them, drafted or joined, you faced loneliness, you witnessed violence, and felt the cold sense of fear. And you stood your watches, regardless of where you were, or the time of day, or the weather that surrounded you. In daylight or night, warm or cold, dry or chilled by rain, you kept your orders regardless of the pain. It matters not what sex you are, nor the color of your skin. It matters not what religion you take comfort in, or perhaps none at all. It doesn't matter what task you were assigned, from clerk to rifleman to sailor or in the sky. You stood your ground for freedom and for family. You stood your watch and honored and honored laid upon you the title, Veteran. Thank you, veterans.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Wingay Newton, who just recently joined us. It is my privilege to introduce City Council Member Amy Foster. Amy serves as the Vice Chair of St. Pete City Council, and she serves as the city's representative on the Pinellas County Homeless Leadership Board. And I know from working closely with Council Member that she cares deeply for our homeless veterans and for all of our veterans and their families. Councilmember Foster.
Good morning. It's great to see so many of you here as we honor our veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. Veterans dedicate themselves to serving a higher purpose and a mission beyond individual concerns and worries. That selflessness, dedication, sacrifice should not go unnoticed, and that's why we're here today to say thank you. At events, you'll often hear the mayor and council members talk about St. Pete as a city of opportunity where the sun shines on all. I'm proud to serve with an administration that honors that commitment to those who've served by working with the Pinellas Homeless Leadership Board, countless nonprofits, and the business community to end veterans' homelessness before the end of this year. Thank you, Mayor, for living this vision with this commitment. Our city vision statement also talks about honoring our past while pursuing our future. So it's only fitting that we are here today for this second annual Veterans Celebration to recognize all those who have served and are serving, including Mr. Willie Rogers. On behalf of the entire St. Pete City Council, I want to offer our gratitude for your service, your sacrifice for this country, and congratulate Master Sergeant Willie Rogers for receiving the 2015 Honored Veterans Award this morning. Thank you.
Representative Dwight Dudley has joined us this morning. Thank you. I would like to introduce City Council Member Bill Dudley, who would like to share an inspirational message in appreciation of our veterans. Council Member.
I spoke here last year, and I forgot, I meant to do this last year, but it's here this year. I have a very good friend of mine, who was a high school classmate of mine, who was at Northeast High School, class 63, went to West Point, graduated, and became a warrior. He was an Army Ranger, see the hat over there, and he achieved the rank of, well, he wrote this when he was a Major General, and then he became a Lieutenant General just before his retirement. This is called A Soldier Stand at Ease. There must be a special place in heaven where young men and brave men go, who have found a soldier's resting place between a soldier's blow, a place where Napoleon's cavalry still proudly guards the flanks, and drummers sound the victory roll as God passes through the ranks. The campfires are a million stars that shine throughout the night. They sit cross-legged and proudly tell the tale of their last fight. As the tales would make a strong man weep, but to each tale doth please A comrade has borne his final pain, and now may stand at ease.
It is my great privilege to introduce our next speaker, St. Petersburg Mayor Rick Kriseman. Mayor Kriseman is the reason we're having this event today. Honoring and serving our veterans is a key priority of his administration. Shortly after taking office, Mayor Kriseman joined with President Obama, Michelle Obama, and with mayors around the country in the Mayor's Challenge to End Veterans Homelessness. Because of Mayor Kriseman, we are making great progress in ending veterans homelessness in our community, and we are very close to making an announcement that as of this day, and that's not today, but in the very near future, we can say there are no veterans who are homeless anymore. This is going to be a fantastic accomplishment, so be looking for that. Mayor Kriseman will be presenting the 2015 Honored Veteran of the Year to Willie Rogers. Mayor Kriseman.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Cliff, and thank you, Vice Chair Foster, for your inspirational words. I'd like to invite Congressman David Jolly to join me up here for the presentation to Willie Rogers, and give the Congressman an opportunity to say a few words, if you would.
We'll make it very few. Folks, we come together as a country, as a community on Veterans Day to recognize the greatness of America. You hear a lot about greatness today. The fact is, generation upon generation upon generation, young men and women who have put on the uniform of the armed services and carried the flag, they have represented greatness. From the early days to the Great Wars, to Korea, to Vietnam, to Kuwait, to the Balkans, to OIF, to OEF, to the Middle East today, the greatness of America is all around us. As a country today, we recognize that greatness as we recognize those who have served in uniform. We recognize the greatness as represented in Master Sergeant Willie Rogers. Thank you for letting me be a small part of this today. I appreciate it, Mayor.
Congressman, I also want to thank you, aside from being here, I want to thank you for your passionate advocacy for all those who've worn the uniform. I also want to thank Cliff Smith and Helen Rhymes, who lead our efforts around veterans, social, and homeless services. You all do an amazing job for us here in the city. 2015 has become the year of Master Sergeant Willie Rogers in St. Petersburg, and for good reason. Willie Rogers turned 100 this year. He received a key to the city, which I had the honor to present, and he was recently honored with a portrait by the Veterans Arts Center of Tampa Bay. And today, Master Sergeant Rogers is our honored veteran. He is one of just 200 Tuskegee Airmen still with us. He is also the recipient of the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest ranking honor that can be bestowed upon an individual by Congress. And we are especially pleased to honor him here at beautiful Williams Park. And we again thank former Councilmember B. Griswold and the late Bill Griswold for their many years of hard work in getting this monument built. Thank you, B. Today reminds us of how special a public space Williams Park can be. In 1944, President Franklin Roosevelt was running for re-election, and he dispatched the actor, director, and narrator Orson Welles to St. Petersburg to campaign for him. Orson Welles came to Williams Park, and he stood right over there. Now, by 1944, Master Sergeant Willie Rogers had already been drafted, already served tours in the Mediterranean, and had been shot in the leg and stomach. Now, he recently said, quote, "I didn't think I was going to make it." Sir, you definitely made it. You overcame resistance from enemies abroad and ignorance at home. And you've made your country and our city of St. Petersburg a much better place. And so it is my great honor to present Master Sergeant Willie Rogers with our 215 Honored Veterans Award.